Las Vegas Strip isn't in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Strip is probably the most famous thing about Nevada and the top reason tourists come to Las Vegas. But the Strip is misnamed. It's actually in the unincorporated city of Paradise. Las Vegas's founders ordered all casinos be built outside city limits to avoid sullying their reputation. In an ironic twist, now that's all anyone knows the city for. Fact number 3. Graham's number is a number that can't be written. It's so large that it is too big to be written down. Named after American mathematician Ronald Graham, it's the largest specific positive whole number to be used in a mathematical proof. It even made the Guinness World Records book. Fact number 4. Deaf people are known to use sign language in their sleep. A case study of a 71-year-old man with a severe hearing impairment and rapid eye movement disorder, which this involves a loss of paralysis during REM sleep. The study showed him using fluent sign language in his sleep, with researchers able to get an idea of what he was dreaming about thanks to those signs. Fact number 5. Alaska is both the westernmost and easternmost state in the U.S. Thanks to its Aleutian Islands crossing the 180th meridian, the longitude line that delineates east and west, Alaska is both the state farthest to the west and to the east of the United States. That's pretty cool. Fact number 6. You need to burn 7,000 calories to lose 1 pound of fat. If you've ever read a food label and wondered what it would take to burn off the calories from a bag of chips or a pack of cookies, we have an answer. In order to lose 1 pound of fat, you'd need to burn 7,000 calories. Of course, every body is different, but the long-held belief that 3,500 calories equal 1 pound of fat is inaccurate. That's what I've always heard, that it's 3,500. I don't know. Fact number 7. Animals can experience time differently from humans. To smaller animals, the world around them moves more slowly compared to humans. Salamanders and lizards, for example, experience time more slowly than cats and dogs. This is because the perception of time depends on how quickly the brain can process incoming information. Number 8. We can't tickle ourselves. Even if you are incredibly ticklish, you may have noticed that tickling yourself doesn't actually work. According to research at University College London, when we try to tickle ourselves, a part of our brain called the cerebellum predicts the sensation. That prediction cancels the response of other brain areas to the tickle. Fact number 9. The flush toilet was invented in 1596. Though we think of flushing toilets as a pretty modern convenience, the first version of it was actually invented back in 1596 by Queen Elizabeth I's godson. It required 7.5 gallons of water to flush, which is a lot when you consider today's toilets require an average of 1.6 gallons. But this version of the flushing toilet didn't really catch on. They didn't take off until 1851. country in the world produces all the food it needs? Out of 186 countries, only Guyana produces enough food to self-sufficiently feed all its citizens without foreign imports. The others are vulnerable to the effects of war, natural disasters, and trade disputes on their food supply. Fact number 16. Pine trees can tell if it's about to rain. Next time you see a pine cone, take a close look. If it's closed, that's because the air is humid, which can indicate rain is on its way. So can Karen from Mean Girls. She can also tell if it's about to rain. Number 17. The biggest butterfly in the world has a 31-centimeter wingspan. It belongs to the Queen Alexandra's birdwing butterfly, which you can find in the forests of the Oro province in the east of Papua New Guinea. Fact number 18. 1 in 18 people have a third nipple. Friends character Chandler Bing wasn't so unusual with his nubbin, with more of us having a third nipple than you'd think. Polythelia is the scientific name for it, and a mutation in one of your genes causes a signaling protein called NRG3 to be produced, which can cause cells to develop into a third nipple. Can you comment down below if you have a third nipple, because 1 in 18 seems like a lot. Let me know. I won't make fun of you, I promise. Number 19. Most maps of the world are wrong. On most maps, the Mercator projection, first developed in 1569, is still used. This method is wildly inaccurate and makes Alaska appear as large as Brazil and Greenland 14 times larger than it actually is. For a map to be completely accurate, it would need to be life-size and round, not flat. Fact number 20. Cricket is the second most popular sport in the world. You probably already guessed that football or soccer is the most popular sport, but you may not know that cricket is in the number 2 spot. The sport has an estimated global following of 2.5 billion people and is most popular in Commonwealth countries. Fact number 21. A woman collected a Civil War survivor pension until 2020. The Civil War ended in 1865, but there was still one U.S. citizen who received survivor benefits until recently. Irene Triplett's father, Mose, served in both the Union and Confederate armies, and because of his service, his wife and children were granted a pension for as long as they lived. Mose and his second wife had Irene in 1930, and he died in 1938 at age 92. After her mother's death, Irene got $73.13 every month until she died in 2020 at age 90. That's crazy. Wait, so he had her when he was like 84. Nice. Fact number 22. An Australian lake is naturally pink. Australia is full of natural wonders that seem to defy explanation, and the country's pink lakes are top of the list. For example, when seen from above, Lake Bumbunga looks bright, almost bubblegum pink. Up close, it takes on a rich fuchsia fuchsia shade. Scientists think it's because of specific bacteria and algae that thrive in the lakes. Fact number 23. Mirrors facing each other don't produce infinite reflections. Each reflection will be darker than the last and eventually fade into invisibility. Mirrors absorb a fraction of the energy of the light striking them. The total number of reflections mirrors can produce is a few hundred. Fact number 24. Giraffes hum to communicate with each other. It's thought that the low-frequency humming could be a form of contact call between individuals who have been separated from their herd, helping them to find each other in the dark. Some researchers think they sleep talk too. Fact number 25. The longest anyone has held their breath underwater is over 24 and a half minutes. The world record for breath holding was achieved by Croatian Budimir Sobat on March 27, 2021, who held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. It's a long time. Number 26. Your nails grow faster in the summer. Studies have found a slight increase in growth during the summer, probably due to increased blood supply to the fingertips. Number 27. Martial artists who smile before the start of a match are more likely to lose. Smiling is a social signal which usually communicates to others our positive emotion and intent, but in some contexts, smile can also convey fear or submissiveness. Researchers who studied the facial expressions of martial arts fighters facing off before a clash found that those who smiled were more likely to go on to lose. Number 28. The world's oldest cat lived to 38 years and 3 days old. It was a tabby mix named Cream Puff, and she lived from 1967 to 2005. The average cat tends to live about 15 years. As in humans, female cats tend to live longer than male cats. Neutered cats tend to live longer than unneutered cats, and crossbreeds tend to live longer than purebreds. Fact number 29. The world's oldest dog lived to 29 and a half years old. It was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey. Dogs' lifespans vary widely depending on the breed, but the median age is about 15 years. Research suggests a little difference between males and females, but small breeds tend to live longer than large ones. Fact number 30. Narnia is based on a real-life place. Believe it or not, the fictional location of Narnia from C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia book series is based on a real place. According to the World Atlas, Narnia was a town that existed more than 2,000 years ago on the Italian peninsula, approximately 50 miles away from Rome. Number 31. Lobster was once considered such a garbage food it could be fed only to prisoners. It may be one of the priciest dishes on fancy menus, but lobster used to be so universally disliked that it was seen fit for prisoners. Even then, there were laws restricting how many days in a row they could have it, lest their punishment be too harsh. research suggests that if you sleep badly and wake up multiple times throughout the night, you will be more likely to recall the content of any dreams you had. You are also more likely to remember a dream when woken from one. Number 34. Lego bricks withstand compression better than concrete. An ordinary plastic Lego brick is able to support the weight of 375,000 other bricks before it fails. This theoretically would let you build a tower nearing 3.5 kilometers in height. Whoa. Fact number 35. Beavers don't actually live in dams. Technically, beavers live in a lodge that they build behind a dam within a deep pool of water. Number 36. There is an island of garbage in the Pacific Ocean twice the size of Texas. Perhaps the greatest testament to our modern lifestyle is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a floating island of plastic and trash measuring 600,000 square miles. Hopefully, it will begin to shrink thanks to the efforts of the Ocean Cleanup, a non-profit founded in 2013 whose goal is to remove 90% of floating ocean plastic by 2040. Number 37. Bats argue a lot. It's no secret that animals communicate with each other all the time, but when scientists recorded and translated the communication between Egyptian fruit bats, it turned out they weren't just having a conversation, they were full on arguing with each other, sometimes about food, while other times disagreements centered on sleeping arrangements. How do they know that, though? How do they know what they're talking about? Have we decoded bat language? Fact number 38. The biggest orchard in the world is probably not what you think it is. California is famous for wine, so you might think the biggest orchard in the world voice inside their head to process their thoughts. That conversation in your head can be very helpful, but it can also be very frustrating when it keeps you awake at night. Studies show that some people don't have inner monologues. Their thoughts can be purely visual, or they may think in feelings or sensations rather than words. Fact number 45. Barns are painted red because of dying stars. You've probably noticed that when it comes to barns, the most popular color is red. That's because red paint is cheap, but there's another far more surprising reason. Red paint is so inexpensive because red ochre, which gives it its color, is a byproduct of nuclear fusion in dying stars. Fact number 46. Pistol shrimp can make a sound louder than a gun and kill prey using bubbles. Snapping shrimp, also known as pistol shrimp, have a biological mechanism that allows them to fire bubble bullets. That alone is enough to make them memorable, but the resulting sound is a screaming 210 decibels. In comparison, an actual gunshot is only around 150 decibels. Number 47. There are only 2 escalators in the state of Wyoming. Wyoming is known for being sparsely populated. After all, there are 1.26 million cows to just under 590,000 people. But perhaps the funniest illustration of this is the fact that there are only 2 escalators in the entire state, both housed in banks. No escalators in the airports. What do they have in airports? Do they not even have airports? I don't know. I'm convinced Wyoming doesn't exist. Let me know if you live in Wyoming. Fact number 48. You can be heavily pregnant and not realize. Cryptic pregnancies aren't that uncommon, with 1 in 500 not recognized until at least halfway through, and 1 in 2,500 not known until labor starts. Fact number 49. Water might not be wet. This is because most scientists define wetness as a liquid's ability to maintain contact with a solid surface, meaning that water itself is not wet, but can make other objects wet. Fact number 50. You might not have heard of the Wright brothers without their sister, Catherine. The Wright brothers weren't the only aviation pioneers. We know about them today thanks to their in-family publicist, their sister Catherine. In addition to running the Wright household, she acted as her shy brother's manager, making sure they not only made the news, but that the facts about them were accurate. Fact number 51. Somalia is perceived to be the most corrupt country. When it comes to levels of corruption, not all governments are created equal. An organization called Transparency International publishes a list each year of the countries that are perceived to be the most corrupt in the world. The most recent data is from 2018, when Somalia was rated the country with the most perceived corruption in the world. Fact number 52. The prototype for a modern bathtub was made from an animal trough. Though people have been bathing for centuries, the modern bathtub as we know it started off as an animal trough. In 1873, John Michael Kohler took Sunflowers are known for their heliotropic behavior, meaning their blooms follow the sun's movement from east to west during the day. This phenomenon helps them absorb the most sunlight for photosynthesis. At night, the flowers reset to face the east, ready for another day of sun watching. Number 54. Female babies are born with all the eggs they'll ever have. They start losing eggs even before they're born. Fetuses have between 6 and 7 million eggs. After birth, babies are left with around 1 million. Once puberty starts, the girl will have around 300,000 eggs. This is true. It's just because they're not mature yet. You're born with like all of the follicles, but they don't actually mature into eggs. Fact number 55. We have big cats, but not big dogs. Big cats mostly hunt alone and rely on a short burst of speed to catch their prey and swipes from their claws to bring it down. Wild dogs hunt differently, using teamwork to chase prey over long distances until it collapses from exhaustion. A larger body is a liability in this sort of endurance contest. It requires more energy to haul around and doesn't improve the chances of a kill. Fact number 56. Your name can affect your appearance. Researchers did a series of studies in 2024. In one, they asked participants to match the faces of adults and children with their correct names. The participants achieved better than guesswork results for the adult faces, but struggled when it came to matching the children's faces with their names. These results suggest that we gradually come to look like our name over time, rather than simply being given an apt name at birth. That is so interesting. That's really interesting. Fact number 57. The universe's average color is called cosmic latte. In a 2002 study, astronomers found that the light coming from galaxies averaged into a beige color that's close to white. Number 58. The arches at the base of the Eiffel Tower are just for decoration. The original design of this Parisian landmark used the 4 large pylons at the base to provide all the structural support. However, the people providing the funding felt that it looked too rickety and worried the public would be too afraid to go in it, so they added the iconic arches around its base, but they are only decorative. Fact number 59. There's a mountain so tall that you wouldn't know it was there if you were standing on top of it. What? The tallest known mountain in the solar system, known as Olympus Mons, is found on Mars. The Shield volcano is so big that if you were at the peak, you wouldn't realize you were even on a mountain. It would seem as if you were standing on a gently sloping plain. Its base is the size of Arizona, and the highest point is over 16 miles tall. I don't really understand what I'm reading, but okay. Fact number 60. Some animals display autistic-like traits. Autistic traits in animals include a tendency toward repetitive behavior and atypical social habits. Bull terriers, for example, are especially prone to repetitive tail chasing, which some experts liken to the spinning that is sometimes seen in children with autism. Fact number 61. Murder rates rise in the Number 63. Humans and giraffes have the same number of neck bones. The average giraffe's neck is 6 feet, while a human's neck averages just 4 inches, yet both of us have the same number of bones in our necks, 7. Number 64. Experts say a painting bought at a garage sale for $50 is a Van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh is one of the most recognized painters of all time, with his famous paintings decorating everything from coffee mugs to shower curtains, along with walls in the most prestigious museums. But would you know a Van Gogh painting if you found one? An unidentified buyer picked up a painting for $50 at a garage sale in Minnesota, and an expert analysis confirmed it is a previously unknown work by Van Gogh. Number 65. Cleopatra lived closer in history to cell phones than the Great Pyramids in Egypt. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of Egypt, was born around 69 BC. The Great Pyramids of Giza were finished around 2500 BC, 2430 years earlier. Cell phones debuted in 1983, so 2052 years after Cleopatra's birth. So that means she's also closer to, like, my birth than the pyramids. Number 66. There are no lakes in Maryland. Maryland is the only U.S. state that has no natural lakes within its borders. The bodies of water in Maryland have all been the result of damming rivers, so they are reservoirs. Number 67. A witness to Abraham Lincoln's assassination was interviewed on TV. Samuel J. Seymour was just 5 years old when he attended a play at Ford's Theater on the fateful evening of April 14th, 1865. He was seated on the balcony directly across from the president, and says he heard the shot, saw Abraham Lincoln slumped over, and watched John Wilkes Booth jump onto the stage before fleeing. Number 68. Fish form orderly queues in emergencies. When evacuating through narrow spaces in sketchy situations, schools of neon tetrafish queue so that they don't collide or clog up the line. Scientists interpreted this behavior as showing that fish can respect social rules, even in emergency situations, unlike us humans. Fact number 69. Finland is the happiest country on Earth. The World Happiness Report takes a poll each year, asking participants to score their lives on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst and 10 being the best. Afghanistan considers itself the unhappiest country with a score of 1.721. Finland comes out top for the 7th year in a row with a score of 7.741. Number 70. Shaking ketchup makes it 1,000 times thinner. There's a good scientific reason for shaking your ketchup before you pour it on your fries. The more you shake it, the thinner the consistency gets. Spherical tomato particles form into thinner ellipses when shaken, making your ketchup 1,000 times easier to get onto your fries. Fact number 71. A single tiger killed more than 400 people. A female Bengal tiger killed an estimated 436 people in Nepal and India over nearly a decade, beginning in the late 1890s. Known as the Champawat tiger for the area of India she hunted, she was finally brought down in 1907 by hunter and later conservationist Jim Corbett. Upon examination of her body, it was found that her upper and lower canine teeth had been shattered by a bullet, which likely made her go after slower humans instead of the usual prey such as deer. Number 72. The largest desert in the world is covered in ice. It covers the continent of Antarctica and has a size of about 5.5 million square miles. The definition of a desert is simply a place that receives less than 10 inches of precipitation per year. It doesn't have to be hot. Fact number 73. The owner of a Segway died while riding a Segway. Those fancy two-wheeled scooters may look benign, but in 2010, Segway owner Jim Hesselden was killed when his Segway rolled off a cliff near his home. Number 74. Bacteria on your skin cause your itches. Specifically, bacteria known as Staphylococcus aureus can release a chemical that activates a protein in our nerves. This sends a signal from our skin to our brains, which our brain perceives as an itch. Fact number 75. Laughing came before language. How do we know? Some researchers tickled baby apes, which, beyond being adorable, showed that they share the same structure as ours and likely arose in our common ancestors millions of years ago. Language came about much later. Fact number 76. The moon looks upside down in the southern hemisphere. Compared to the northern hemisphere anyway, this means that the man in the moon is upside down in the southern hemisphere and looks more like a rabbit. Number 77. The FDA once banned sliced bread. The first loaf of machine-sliced bread was sold in 1928. Americans were still getting used to this amazing modern convenience when in 1943 the FDA banned it. The government cited the desire to keep the consumer costs of flour down and the fact that pre-sliced bread used up too much wax paper that could be used in the war effort. However noble the reason, people were furious and the ban only lasted 3 months. Number 78. Starfish don't have bodies. Starfish have always been a topic of intrigue, whether that's due to their ability to regrow limbs or simply the question of where their body ends and their head begins. Well, scientists might finally have the answer to the latter. Their entire bodies are technically classed as heads. Number 79. People who eat whatever they want and stay slim have a slow metabolism, not fast. A slim person tends to have less muscle mass than others, meaning their basal metabolic rate is lower than those of a high muscle mass. This gives them a slow metabolism, not a fast one. I feel like that's not necessarily true. Like, they just have a lower resting calories burned. Doesn't mean it's, I don't know. Number 80. NASA genuinely faked part of the moon landing. While Neil Armstrong's first steps on the lunar surface were categorically not faked, the astronaut quarantine protocol when the astronauts arrived back on Earth was largely just one big show. Fact number 81. After a kidney transplant, you actually have 3 kidneys. Over 35 million people in the United States diseased kidney, the doctor normally leaves the old kidney in place and puts the donor kidney in the lower belly on the front side of the body. Why? Number 82. Saudi Arabia has had to buy sand and camels from Australia. When you think of Saudi Arabia, two of the first images that might pop into your head are vast deserts of sand and lines of camels. It may sound like a case of selling ice to Eskimos, but Australia sold both sand and camels to the Middle Eastern country for decades. Australia has the largest population of wild camels in the world, and its sand is highly prized in manufacturing. Number 83. A chicken survived for 18 months without a head. In 1945, a Colorado farmer went out to kill a chicken for dinner, but when he chopped off the animal's head, it just wouldn't die. It's not unusual for chickens to survive for a few minutes, headless, but as time went on, he realized he had narrowly missed the jugular vein, so while the poor creature had no head, it could still survive. The farmer named him Magic Mike, and instead of eating him, fed him with an eyedropper until he died 18 months later. Wow. Number 84. Your signature could reveal personality traits. A study in 2016 purports that among men, a larger signature correlates with higher social bravado, and among women, a bigger signature correlates with narcissistic traits. I have a pretty small signature, I think. Number 85. Animals can be allergic to humans. Allergies are caused by an overreaction of the immune system to a substance, such as pollen, peanuts, or pet saliva. Just like humans, animals can have allergies to a variety of substances, and although it's rare, some pets are allergic to our dead skin cells, known as dander. Different pets can even be allergic to each other's dander. Number 86. People called 911 when they saw the Milky Way for the first time. In 1994, Los Angeles experienced citywide blackouts, but it wasn't the loss of electricity that had residents scared. It was the strange glowing light in the sky. Hundreds of people called in to report it, only to be told they were actually seeing our galaxy, the Milky Way, for the first time. Light pollution has become so prevalent that people can live their entire lives without ever seeing the natural night sky. Fact number 87. You can taste garlic through your skin. If you rub a clove of garlic on your bare skin, you'll be able to taste garlic in your mouth. It's all thanks to allicin, the chemical responsible for garlic's unique smell. You can absorb it through your skin, and from there it passes through your bloodstream and into your mouth and nose, making you taste the garlic even though it never went into your mouth. I will be trying that. Thank you. Number 88. Football teams wearing red kits play better. The color of your clothes can affect how you're perceived by others and change how you feel. A review of football matches in the last 55 years, for example, showed that teams wearing red consistently played better in home matches than teams in any other color. Interesting. Now that I think of it, some of the most successful college football teams are red, and the Chiefs are red. Interesting. Fact number 89. Painting wind turbines black reduces bird deaths by 70%. Wind turbines kill between 10,000 rats. A small-scale study in Norway found that painting one of the wind turbines black reduced bird deaths by 70%. Okay. Number 90. A horse normally has more than 1 horsepower. A study in 1993 showed that the maximum power a horse can produce is 18,000 watts, around 24 horsepower. A more real-world figure is about 14.9 horsepower. Fact number 91. Drug lord Pablo Escobar spent $2,500 a month on rubber bands to hold all his cash. It can be hard to imagine how much wealth is generated by the illegal drug trade, but the fact that Pablo Escobar had to spend over $2,000 on rubber bands every month just to keep his money together might help put it in perspective. That's crazy. Number 92. It's possible to die of laughter. Yes, it's possible to die from laughing, but don't let that stop you enjoying your favorite comedy. There are just a handful of reported cases, usually due to intense laughter causing a heart attack or suffocation. Number 93. The raptor sounds in Jurassic Park are actually mating tortoises. Ever wondered what mating tortoises sound like? As it turns out, you probably know. That is, if you've seen any of the Jurassic Park movies. The sound designer confessed it's somewhat embarrassing, but when the raptors bark at each other to communicate, it's a tortoise having sex. Fantastic. Number 94. High-heeled shoes were originally designed for soldiers. High heels have become such an icon of stereotypical femininity that many women feel an outfit is incomplete without them. But this ultra-girly symbol was first invented for men. Persian fighters started the high heel trend in the 10th century because it helped their feet fit better in stirrups while riding horses. The shoes were mostly considered masculine fashion until the mid-18th century, when women claimed them. Number 95. There are 3 ways to talk about more than one octopus. Many people think the right plural form is octopi, based on the Latin, but because the word also has Greek roots, others believe it should be the very strange octopodes. No one says that, however, so English grammarians have settled on octopuses as the first choice for the pluralization of octopus. I like octopi. Number 96. The widest tornado ever recorded was 2.6 miles wide. On May 31st, 2013, a tornado occurred over rural Oklahoma near the city of El Reno. Weather radars estimated the tornado to be a staggering 2.6 miles wide, with a maximum wind speed of 313 miles per hour. It is also the only tornado to have taken the lives of storm chasers due to its unpredictable nature. Number 97. Hippos sweat blood. Hippos may be large and in charge, but they lack one thing: sweat glands. Instead, they have mucus glands, which release an oily secretion frequently referred to as blood sweat. Technically, it's neither blood nor sweat, but a combination of 2 acids that form a secretion which turns orange-red in the sun, giving hippos the appearance of sweating blood. Okay. Number 98. Your school pencil was yellow for a reason. The yellow pencil wasn't just an aesthetic choice, it was marketing genius. In the late 1800s, the best graphite came from China, and pencil makers wanted everyone to know they were using the good stuff. In Chinese culture, yellow represented royalty, glory, wisdom, and respect. So when Czech manufacturing company Hardtmuth Pencil introduced their luxury pencil in 1889, they chose the sunny hue to show they were using the highest quality materials. Number 99. Someone left a family photo on the moon. When Apollo 16 astronaut Charles Duke landed on the moon in 1972, he decided to leave behind a photo of him, his two sons, and his wife. The photo remains on the moon to this day. And fact number 100. Over 13 million ASMR videos have been uploaded to YouTube. The first video meant to intentionally trigger ASMR was uploaded to the channel Whispering Life in March 2009. Since then, more than 13 million videos have been uploaded. As of 2021, ASMR was the third most popular search term of all time. That's crazy. Well, I'm contributing to about 500 of those. 600? I don't know. I posted a video not long ago and people were commenting like, this is your 600th video. So, I'm contributing quite a bit to that problem. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed all of these facts. 100 fun facts. I hope you liked them. Yeah, and thank you to my viewer for providing them. I really like this style and it works great for making an hour-long video, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed these. Let me know if you knew these before or